so this one's going to be a real quick one today, mainly because I've got my world building workbook coming out in, like 2 weeks. So I'm doing all the running around like a chicken with my head cut off, getting the stuff like setting up downloads and setting up the arcs and all those things I should have done 3 months ago, but I'm doing now because I'm me. So with understanding that, we're gonna dive right into making using niches, which I'm used to saying niche just because I'm Southern, niches and convergent evolution to design something real quick. Most of the time, animals and in fantasy stories have, I think, like 6 reasons to exist in the story itself. This is actually in the workbook: predator, prey, transportation, to bestow abilities, to create a sense of wonder and exoticism, or to make the world feel more authentic, the scene and the area and that kind of thing. So with that in mind, I'm going to draw a couple real quick, and then I'm going to do 3 of those roles real quick. I'm going to say real quick one more time. I'm going to do 3 of those roles with just make up a creature based on, it's going to fill a niche that exists in the real world, but it's going to be different, very similar, but it's going to be a creature that reflects this world that I'm about to draw from the bucket. So I'm just going to draw big things. If I get its culture, that kind of thing, I'm probably going to ignore it because we know from the big chart that geography is what affects biology, and since we're doing biological things, we might actually count some culture in there because most of these animals that we're discussing are domesticated, which there's a whole bunch of other things that need to go into domestication. It's mentioned in Guns, Germs, and Steel, like it's a herd, they have a hierarchy, that kind of thing. Don't spook when humans are around. So anyways, I'm not going into that right now. Let's grab a couple of things for this world. We got chaotic magic. We've got a lot of those. Singing spells. Dragons again. Man, cannibalism. Oh, that's going to be awesome. Alright, we're going to just keep going until we find something good. Demigods living among us. Alright, that was possible. Demigods, dragons, cannibalism. We're going to leave the magic out of it because it's just going to be a little difficult. So cannibalism, that's cultural. Demigods among us, metaphysical. And dragons, you just can't go wrong with dragons. Alright, so be back in just a few minutes. Try to figure out, oh, sorry, I didn't say what I was going to do. 3 types of those creatures. I'm going to do 1 predator, 1 prey, and 1 domesticated animal. We'll see which one we do. Talk to you in a minute. Okay, I think I'm 10 minutes in. This is very, very brief. Again, I'm going to probably say that 8 times. Antecedents phase. So I decided I was going to do a predator, a prey, and a domestic creature. The idea is that they're dragons, demigods, and cannibalism. So this is building up antecedents. The idea that dragons caused all this. Dragons are hunting humans and are a terrible predator because obviously the dragons are going to need to be the predator. That's kind of not quite cheating on my part, but that is going to tie it into the whole thing. Since the dragons are the predator, they've been just eating humans all the time, and the dragons get stronger as they eat humans, meaning that they become more classical. So when they start off, when they're young, they're more like lions and tigers, which is why they're going to be convergent evolution to fit in that niche for to be the predator in this. And as they eat more humans, which is their favorite food, it's not the only thing they eat. They get stronger, they get the wings, they get the breathing fire, the horns, that kind of thing that you think of as a dragon. So humans have their gods, and they're like, we're just being torn apart by these creatures. We can barely domesticate any animals, which we'll get to in a second. So as such, they call out to the gods, and the gods send the demigods to live among them to teach them. So they're lesser gods, and they are teaching them how to resist the dragons, how to fight back. And one of the things they teach the humans is don't let the dragons eat the people, you eat the people first, which is where the cannibalism comes from. I haven't really woven that in there, but it does kind of work with the general concepts of, A leads to B, leads to C, which in this case, dragons leads to demigods, leads to cannibalism. So using the dragons as the predator in this. We're going to kind of extrapolate out, which is the building up in just building out in just a second. The idea is that this is most of the creatures in this world are more of a reptile / dinosaur, avian type of build. So I'm going to convergent evolution with the idea that they're evolving from dinosaurs, sort of dinosaur-esque dragons to fit the niches. So that's my convergent evolution, and my apparently I'm getting a lot of light from my computer screen, which I didn't realize until it went off. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm going to build a prey, which is probably going to be like a proto-cow or something like that, since I'm using the niche of the lions and tigers. And then a domestic, I think I'm going to do sort of dog, a kind of aviary dog. We'll find out in just a second. So here we go. Yep, tied it all together. Dragons means demigods, means cannibalism, and then our prey, predator, and domestic creature. So here we go. I've not named this world other than dragons, demigods, and cannibalism because, yeah, again, this is going real quick. But as I said, background, yeah, dragons are in the predator niche, and they start off as small, kind of smaller lions and tigers, rather than the classic dragons. They eat voraciously, and the more they eat, the more they grow. They particularly are fond of humans, and let me see, they eat other things too, but mostly humans if they can get it. So humans called out to the gods, and the gods sent their children, kind of like a Greek pantheon. I don't know, I'm thinking Sumerian for some reason, but heroic demigods that are there to teach humans. They teach them cannibalism so that the dragons don't have anything to eat. This land is hunted by the big flying dragons, but it's the little ones that you really have to worry about. I'm going to make this world kind of swampy, and I'll get to that in a second. Anyways, but the demigods are also helping humans domesticate our second creature, which is the prey of the tiger-sized dragons, and these are based on ostriches / duck-billed dinosaurs. As I said, I'm extrapolating out that if dragons are filling the predator niche, then most of the creatures on this world should fall into that, which is the convergent evolution. So even though that they are coming from a more aviary / dinosaur / dragon reptilian background, they still fill the niches that we know of, like prey and predator, and the specific ones like tiger, or in this case ostrich. They're going to be an ostrich, and so I looked up again what are the qualifications. Looked up in the book, but of a predator, of a domesticated animal, and they have a plant-based diet. They have rapid growth, not take 18 years to mature like we do. They can breed in captivity. I think that's why we tame elephants and we don't domesticate them. Even though I think the Indian elephant technically can be domesticated, but the African cannot. Anyways, they don't breed well in captivity. And cheetahs are the same thing. They need they need a lot of space to breed, so they don't breed in cages or someone's backyard. They have a manageable disposition, so you can't really domesticate. What's a really snotty animal? Water moccasins. Couldn't do that if you tried. They don't panic as much. That's not entirely true, which we'll get to in a second. But they're much. I think water buffalo are panicky, so they can't really be domesticated. And they live in herds, which makes sense. All right, especially because they have a social hierarchy already, an animal hierarchy. So our prey is going to be ostrich duckbill based. They kind of base it on horses and cattle, but the idea is they herd in wetlands, and that's one of the reasons they've been able to survive the dragons for so long. They can live in kind of mangrove swamps, because that's just a really cool setting. And they're long-legged, so they can be above the water while the humans are in canoes, which would be kind of cool. So they're dumb, they stampede when they're spooked, but they can be used as transport, and the demigods are teaching humans how to domesticate them, basically. So they're filling in that niche now of beast of burden as well as transportation. And then the domesticated animal is going to be kind of dog-based, because I was thinking of doing a cat, but cats are, they aren't great for domesticated animals, especially for stories. This is kind of a hooting lizard, smaller, 40, 50 pounds maybe at max. They're pack-based, and kind of like meerkats or prairie dogs, they alert each other whenever there is a predator nearby, which is why they've survived as long as they have. So they hoot. They're hooting dogs that are really kind of reptiles, which is just kind of cool in my opinion. Pack-based, very loyal. They are not strong, especially compared to the lion-sized dragons. But they swim very well, because dogs are better than cats, and so they flee. So it's one sees it, they honk, the whole place scatters, which is why they've been domesticated by humans, because they alert humans to the presence of the predator dragons, and so that gives humans a better chance of survival, while humans are stronger than the dog niche, so they provide protection also from the predators. So there you go. Convergent evolution is being used to make predator, prey, and domesticated. We pulled those all together with some extrapolation and antecedents with building up and building out. If I was going to do a story, and I don't have time for it, I would kind of do a Western where the demigod is showing the people of this region how to, working with their ostrich dinos, which probably need a name. When an elder dragon comes by, scatters the flocks. It would be a classic Western stampede, except that it's done in the water. Kid gets knocked out, the main character gets knocked out with his hooting dog. That's probably the weakest one, because obviously you need an underdog. And so it would be the next day when he comes to, his loyal dog is there, and the demigod is there, and they're being hunted by now the smaller lion-sized ones, and so they have to find their herd with just one hooting dog, which isn't as very useful, and the wounded demigod and the main character who's weaker. And so then, because at first I wasn't going to put the demigod in it, but you need two characters to have more interaction, or else it's just a survival story, which are good. But so human, demigod, and hooting dog, probably throw in some cannibalism, but them trying to get back to the group. So there you go. Niches, using convergent evolution to fill them with your fantasy creatures and building off the worlds that you can draw out of a bucket. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helps you build some better worlds.